A hell of a lot. This is where things get really, really heated. We are approaching the main event, Remo, the last remaining Series 3 we have left this day. We have XlorD versus Foggy, we have Hitman versus XlorD, and we have Happy versus Hitman. Welcome to the main event.
Yeah, this is the big leagues right now. We're getting into the nitty-gritty. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of where the undead, where the Warcraft expertise lies, and where we're gonna be able to enjoy some excellent high-level Warcraft. We've seen these two face plenty of times before, especially DreamHack comes to mind, and Todd's absolutely right. Very often, Foggy would be the victor there. Last time we looked it up earlier, I think it was middle of 2021. Last time then was God damn it, XlorD able to beat Foggy. There we go. But the German has been looking absolutely stellar in the Meisterschaft as always. There was always that one step that seemed to elude him. The dominance of Germany was easy to accomplish for him for XlorD standards, but taking that next step and getting to Foggy's level and maybe even Happy's level, that is crazy hard.
All right, everybody, it's time. Enough of the talks. We want action. Map number 1, XlorD versus Foggy. Stakes are so high for these guys on the upper right-hand side. Representing Raptor Gaming, playing the Keeper of the Grove, is Foggy. Who already beat Hitman 2-1. And also Trunks 2-0, so flawless performance so far in terms of wins. But that map loss versus Hitman could be really, really interesting. Foggy can't crumble anymore. He has to win this one. Same goes for XlorD, who just lost 0-2 versus Happy, and he's spawning in the bottom left-hand side. The German Meister finally wants to have that international title, or at least this big win here, as it seems like we have a little bit of a break, maybe some hotkeys mixed up or something. But yeah, both of these guys can't really afford any losses anymore. This is a big match for both to acquire a top 3 spot for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It is almost, how to say, sad the state of the group in the fact that everyone is expecting to lose to Happy, but then when it comes to the matches among each other, between Foggy and XlorD and Hitman, then these games are really, really important. At the moment, the standing is such as this. Happy has 6 points because he's been flawless so far. Foggy right behind him with 5 points. Then we have Hitman with 4, and XlorD at the moment only in 4th position with only 3 points. But that's largely because he played against Happy in the second round and they lost 0-2. So these matches here will be pivotal. This match that we're seeing right now, XlorD versus Foggy, and also later on, Hitman versus XlorD. These might be the games that decide the group stage. And yeah, we'll see where this game goes. We saw a lot of Fairy Dragons earlier. We saw XlorD trying with Gargoyles and Alchemist. And that's, of course, something that Foggy was able to learn about.
Yeah, if he had the time to watch it, because Foggy's series versus Hitman was very, very, very long, so I don't think that Foggy saw it thus far. XlorD already interesting early game, a little bit different than before. Backpack immediately, put some pressure on, and when it comes to Foggy strategies, I think I pointed this out throughout the weekend, but I'm gladly repeating that again. Is he still stubbornly trying to make the Dryads work? Or is he adjusting to the Fairy meta?
Yeah, that's the big question. Foggy is the one bastion of Dryad play that still seems to be stubborn, perhaps, you might even say, trying to play that style. It can be so tough to make work in the late game when the anti-hero levels are strong. There's Fiends and perhaps even Wagons to deal with those Dryads. In masses in the late game, the Dryads oftentimes don't hold up. However, I would say, on this map, in my opinion, they are the best of the entire map pool. It's because of the health fountains. Here, unlike any other map, you can heal against the Disease Cloud, which normally is the biggest threat to Dryads in the late game. And that's why we keep a close eye on the build by Foggy. So far, we don't see a Hunter's Hall yet, but that might still come.
All right. I found it very interesting talking to Foggy after the match against Trunks. I asked him, of course, about his chances to win against Happy. And then he said, I don't really care about that too much because the next one is XlorD. And I asked, this is just a warm-up game versus XlorD then? And he said, yes. So it seems like he's oozing confidence here in Hamburg.
Yeah, and I suppose for good reason. He is really strong in that match, well, has been for a long time. He was tested and trained by the best, and those, of course, being Happy. Their encounters in DreamHack were legendary. Crazy series that we saw there before. It would be them in the grand final of the European region almost every time. And Foggy has been the second strongest player in Europe for a long while. But like we also pointed out earlier, Getting ready for this tournament in the qualifier stage, Foggy didn't seem to be in his strongest shape of all time, but what we've seen so far has looked really good.
Well, that only goes for the winner bracket, because once he was down in the losers and smashed Hawk with that 3-0, that was no bueno for the human player. Anyway, let's focus on this match. Who got the lead? Who is this game going for? We do have a Demon Hunter second. We have no Huntress Hall. It is Foggy playing Fairies finally.
All right, seems like even Foggy has given up on the Dryads, like most others have as well. Mass Fairies will be coming out, perhaps a couple of Hippogriffs. We saw earlier when Kevin was playing here, he had probably too few Hippogriffs out, right?
Yes.
When the Gargoyles came out, they ended up doing very, very well indeed. Fairy Dragons, extremely bad against Gargs. That is where the Hippogriffs need to come in to be the counter.
And I hope that Foggy is aware, because switching to Gargs in the middle of a game is really uncommon. Who does that, really? Most undeads are playing Fiends and Destroyers and Statues, of course, in almost every matchup, to be fair. But XlorD switched to Gargs, and that caught Kevin by surprise. Foggy has to scout a lot, has to be on his feet. And now he's facing a Lich. But levels-wise, nobody reached level 3. Keeper is very, very close. But the DK Harass is preventing a roaming Keeper and a Demon Hunter. And it's very interesting, because Foggy is oftentimes inspired by Moon, and one of the big staples of Moon strategy is that mid-game or early-game harass, and that is due to the fact that XlorD stole the staff.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Foggy needs to start creeping as fast as possible. The Keeper being low level is kind of okay, because, you know, Destroyers and all that later on, although he gets level 3 here. But Demon Hunter needs to get level 2 at least, rather level 3, and would love to pick up some big items on the way. One of Mana Stealing, not the ideal one, but XlorD knows where the opponent is. He staffed back to get the Lich in here faster, and now he's ready to harass with a Coil Nova. It's going to be 1 kill at the very least, with some good blocking, perhaps even more, but in come the Hippogriffs with a nice save.
XlorD looking good with the body blocks of the Skeleton, the Demon Hunter behind enemy lines. It was a nice pickup by Foggy there with the Hippo, saving an Archer that could have potentially fallen because they were still slowed. Summons everywhere, Skeletons of course on the side of XlorD. Here comes an Entangle. We go for the Lich. We have seen Foggy trying this against Happy a myriad of times and failing almost every single time. XlorD again continues creating some distance between Keeper and the rest. DK though, does he want to spend another Entangle? It's not ready, no mana, no more. Expo, holla, walking into the creep spot.
A bit of a stressful game here for Foggy. He was slowed down with the creeping, but so was XlorD. He's got Nature's Blessing. This is a big help. Ancient Door, the Tree of Life should survive, especially if the Wisps come over. And XlorD now is getting ready to hit his tier 3 power spike timing. He sold the TP even, might commit hard to this push soon, and I think an Alchemist is going to join again.
Wow, that's new. Like XlorD, really not the guy to reinvent matchups. He's oftentimes following, but this is looking pretty good. Alchemist it is. XlorD, this, I've never seen this before, you?
He showed me a couple of replays. I've seen it once or twice, and also, of course, against Kevin earlier. And now his goal, what he said in the interview, which was kind of interesting, was with the first push, I don't want to win. I want to kill the Wisp, slow him down, and later on, I'm going to have Gargs to actually win the game. Let's see how this goes. Frenzy's finishing now. Destroyer's still far from done. Foggy's heroes rather weak, if you ask me. The orb is on the DK right away, so there's plenty of anti-air between the 3 heroes. Statue's a bit out of position, but so is the Demon. He needs to be saved somehow.
Oh, the evasion though, oh my. Nice block with the tree, and ghouls are following. Foggy has to operate on multiple screens. Is that a save to the moon? Well, is he on point? Looks like it. Oh, that was stressful. It has to walk all the way back. Stefan Potion now. The Expo is alive, but can't mine at the moment. On the other side, XlorD running out of steam a little bit. Sent the Ghoul back, and the Lich is super duper hurt. Oh, Ghoul's actually causing some trouble here. As you said, he's hunting down the Wisp, but Foggy saved them really well and survives this push.
Yeah, very interesting exchange. XlorD, we saw the priority there. Go for the Wisps, look for some easy kills. And he mostly ignored the air units. Again, he's skipping the Fiends. He's going for Gargs right away, but it's only single crypt until now, which doesn't really work with mass Gargs. Because Gargs may be low supply, but they have a long build time for being 2 supply. So he needs that second crypt, which now will be coming soon. And of course, on this map, that means they can creep the fountains very easily.
I find this strategy by XlorD amazing. Like, you really are having troubles with the fairies because you can't Nova them and you can't really deal with them in large numbers. But you force your opponent to go into hippos, and you can nuke hippos. And we all know how strong Coil Nova can be against units. So with that switch to Gargs, you force your opponent out of the unit that you don't want to face into the unit that you want to face, and that results in a better late game.
And there also the Alchemist could help even more. I was surprised earlier to see Acid Bomb, second spell.
Oh my god, dude, he got the bouncer!
Good bonus for the Garg. That's going to be pretty good. I wonder what he's going to skill. Like I said, the Alchemist earlier, he had Heal Spray rather than Acid Bomb. When it comes to air versus air battle, that Acid Bomb could also be very, very strong.
Yeah, I think this was situational because his heroes and units were very, very low, so maybe it was just in the heat of the moment. On the other side, Foggy is finding the best item as well, which is Rune Bracers. And he holds on to the Talisman of Evasion, which is a little odd because it doesn't stack with the passive. Foggy now, Hunch Assault, absolutely necessary. Expo starts mining. XlorD not even thinking about a second base. He has to stop the gold income of Foggy at some point.
Foggy's production shows us no hippogriffs, more fairies. The mistake that perhaps also was the downfall of Kevin. Is Foggy getting surprised here? Perhaps he is. Well, now he certainly does know about the gargoyles. Instantly we see hippos being queued.
Yeah.
Maybe he realized this a bit too late.
Oh, they produce quite quickly. Maybe he can buy some time, use some units as a decoy to buy time for heavy air. I was about to make this point, like with that Alchemist's third, you can't go into Dreadlord, which usually provides the aura, which is amazing because these fights between hippos and Gargs will be melee, and Vamp Aura, of course, provides lifesteal on melee attacks. And then you combine it with a Nova, and then you probably win the fight because the Foggy is not having a Panda right now. Would love to see a Panda edition as well, combined with the Switch, but here's the first big fight of the game.
Lifesteal is pretty sick on these Gargs. Of course, unload on the Hippo Riders. Now we have lots of Hippogriffs in the air and Archers on the ground. The heal spray is being used. XlorD once again values this one highly over the Acid Bomb. And who's winning the fight? It's hard to tell. It's very bloody up in the air. It's a massacre. Units dying quickly. Frost Armor also helping. I wasn't even considering that. Frost Armor against Hippogriffs. That's so strong, and XlorD's winning this fight. He's wrecking this fight. He's going after the Demon Hunter. He's got the Rune Braces to protect him, and also the boots. Very important. Those boots were missing severely when we saw Kevin play earlier. But XlorD again has a good fight. 10 supply lead, and he's on the prowl to move forward. But Foggy still has the Expo.
This build is genius. I'm so stunned by how well this is working, and that nobody thought about it before. All the puzzle pieces, all the jigsaw puzzle pieces, they're fitting so nicely together. Frost Armor slowing down the hippos, so I mean, the Gargs already win the air battle, usually. Then you slow down your opponent's army and get more armor at the same time. This is madness.
Or is it Sparta? He's moving forward again. How much does XlorD have left in the tank? The status, of course, regenerating here over time. Foggy probably hasn't played against this too many times. XlorD has been practicing this for a little while, but it certainly is far from the norm. And more ghouls joining as well. This is more pressure against the heroes. And the Gargs with this spectacular support. Like, there's so much that they're being helped with. They got the orb, they got the statues, they got the Nova, they got the Frost Armor. They could even have Acid Bomb, although not in this case.
Maybe you could even go for 1-1-1.
Not the worst idea, honestly.
Right on. Foggy needs a Panda. Like yesterday. He needs at least Drunken Haze. Breath of Fire would, of course, be amazing on top of that as well. Is willing to engage now with a supply deficit, which is never good for Night Elf versus Undead. He's hunting down 1 or 2 Gargs. That's kind of nice. Double level 3 on the Undead side. Statues. Can he even reach him? I don't really know. The Fairy Dragon is damage is really low. Alchemist level 3. Let's see what his pick is. So far, XlorD looking so strong. The Keeper almost surrounded.
Just barely gets away. In fact, Foggy seems to win the air fight, but XlorD is dominating the ground. He's got lots of ghouls, and there's no way there's enough Entangle to deal with them. And if there's only a few air units, the Undead heroes take care of it. XlorD in a great position to take this first map.
And he had 2 scary Night Elves in his group with Kevin, who's pretty good against Undead, and of course Foggy. And he befuddles both of them with the new Alchemist air build. This is not the answer. This build by Foggy is not the answer. He's losing every single fight since then. Keeper of the Grove might be forced into the town portal or into the grave. That was a massive right click. GG. And the Meister takes map number 1.
With his very own style. Truly in style. with the Alchemist, who he's been experimenting with for a little while, makes it work extremely well here. And Foggy played pretty standard and incorporated the newer style of Mass Air. And ironically, wouldn't Mass Dryads be really good against that build?
I mean, you're still having trouble with Dryads against Gargoyles most of the time. Depends on the mass.
Yeah.
I think that's very early game dependent. And the early game wasn't necessarily good for Foggy. It was almost a stalemate. Nobody was really getting level 3. But with the Keeper, you absolutely need level 3 to have an impactful early game. The expansion was quite late. Then he ran into the creeps because he was so busy, he could never creep the expansion early on. So I'm not too sure. I think Panda is the answer. Panda third.
Yeah, Panda will definitely do very well against the Gargs and Ghouls. Question is, if the Panda is shown, is he still going to go Gargs? Probably not. Also, if
No, third.
Third hero. We've seen that by Lolite before.
Yeah.
Sometimes quite successful. That was fun.
And great minds think alike, no?
They certainly do. Question is, do you have the time to level him up? Foggy was under so much pressure there all the time. And I think this really was XlorD's key to victory. Of course, really cool build, really cool strat all together. But he always had his finger on Foggy's neck. He was always right there. He was harassing in the beginning. The ghouls crept aside. The DK gets the telestaff. He's always aware of what's going up in the north. He teleports back to the Lich. He knows where to attack next, where to find the next creepjack. And guess what? After that is done and Foggy retreats, it's time to go for the big push, which is also very fast. That tier 3 and Frenzy arrive super early. The Alchemist joins in very quick. By that time, the tree wasn't even mining.
Yeah.
But there also the map may have played out in XlorD's favor because on Concealed Hill, it's quite hard to expand. You have to delay the expansion. You can't be too greedy and set up too early because you're going to lose it, and with that, lose the game. So, on the other maps with easier expansions, Foggy may have a better time.
Okay, hopefully. Let's see if the boxing champ can bounce back. Coming with a lariat from the ropes, maybe. He has to win this. He dropped another map. First to Hitman, now to XlorD. Will it be 3 points for the German champion, or will we get game 3? We're about to witness this on map number 2. Dip. Off we go. Northern Isles it is. So we talked a lot about expansions. So Remo, what are we witnessing here on Northern Isles?
It is definitely an easier expansion to set up. There is harass possibility, but in general, the camp fairly easy to take. But what we heard earlier in the pregame was when Jenny/Dennis said that this can be quite the tough map for Night Elf. Todd was unsure of that assessment, but I would agree. Not so much because of the expansion, but rather because of second hero creeping. The Demon Hunter second is most likely going to be the choice, although you mentioned the Panda. However, as a third hero. But normally it's the Demon Hunter. But whatever hero you choose, you need to rely on that hero to be strong, because the Keeper quite simply will fall off. And this map is, for that reason, not known to be too good for Night Elf.
All right, let's see how this goes. Nice little dodge right here by Foggy. Could also be an idea to go into Thorn's aura at some point for the Keeper, if the game provides it. Would be a nice aura for that air fight. But first you have to establish that expansion. All the builds revolve around expansion. I'm a little worried for Foggy, because usually he picks the builds from Moon and refines them a little bit and adjusts them to his personal style. He has to adjust on the fly, right here, right now, with just a minute of time.
Is XlorD really expanding? Or is it a fake expansion?
Ooh.
Fake expansion has been very popular for Undead for quite some time. But Foggy, he took a long while to start harassing. In fact, he's still not harassing. He's creeping level 2 and beyond, and it's just letting XlorD take this expansion fully for free while teching. This, okay, maybe I'm not aware of something, but this seems like a big mistake. Normally the Keeper is supposed to harass this.
There's still some time. He wanted level 2 at all costs. He might pull Wisps now, okay, or Arch now and go north, but he can't afford to creep level 3. Like, he has to see that a Haunted is coming, and he has to be there, and he has to cancel it. Otherwise, the two-ways play is almost unplayable, but he is moving south.
Wow, what a free early game for XlorD. He just stepped into the store and asked, can I have everything? And Foggy said, yes, sir, please have everything that you want. And so far, XlorD is taking great advantage of this. I'm quite surprised by the passive approach by Foggy. He's trying to play counter-expansion.
Oh.
Normally, the Keeper is considered to only be playable when economically ahead, not in 2-base.
Yeah, DK. Surrounded here, he sold the town portal, of course. There is a staff and no more mana, so he won't be trapped by Entangle for the second time. Good right-clicks on him, so solid damage, but also solid damage on that tree. He was banking on the fact that he can't expand on the spot, and that's not happening. This series is a total disaster for Foggy.
XlorD may finally have to fall back. The Keeper can creep the rest of the camp. This is also so much time being bought. If Foggy had gotten level 3 here right away and then spammed mass level 2 treants, maybe he could have killed the tower at the expansion or something. But Foggy, Happy, it's happening again, dude. Apologies, XlorD is buying so much time. And Foggy's counter expansion is going to be very late. Beautiful scouting and positioning by XlorD, knowing exactly where he can go, what he can get away with. And while he does have the experience disadvantage, quite the significant one, this Expo of his is standing. Foggy needs to go for some big plays here on tier 2. And this time around, I imagine also a Panda, probably.
Okay, that would be quite an adjustment, but XlorD is preparing yet another run by. He will find an expansion, probably. The Archers are protecting it now, but there's so much surface area. XlorD sees this and abandons the push, but it's totally fine as long as he's not getting attacked. Everything's in order. We still go mass air on Foggy's side without an expansion. Will we see a staff now? No, just still of the parry apt. All right, this has to do major damage now.
He's got a lot of mana here to harass the expansion. But what he doesn't have is that telestaff, so this may cost him a TP. XlorD, does he have enough units here to look for the surround?
Wow, the block is incredible. The surround is one ask, and it's a town portal right away. Big damage? Not at all. It was an Acolyte. It was a couple of hits on the Ziggy. And it's done.
He even got a backup Acolyte, so this one loss doesn't even really hurt him at all. XlorD in the right place at the right time, every step of the way. A wonderful game by XlorD. And Foggy, with an interesting choice here in the early game to leave XlorD alone, was trying to go for the swift counter expansion. That didn't quite work out so as well as he was hoping. And also now he doesn't have the lumber for a second hero. The timings are just not coming together for Foggy.
Exactly. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How is he supposed to bounce back from this? The early game didn't work out, the early harass didn't really work out, but the Archers are about to cancel a lot of stuff. We see triple crypt attempt by XlorD, which is interesting. Might need a backup here soon. So at least a little bit of a win for Foggy, finally, as he delays mass Gargs.
These ghouls can perhaps be fed upon by Foggy. He's got the strong entangle, a lot of archers. Perhaps he can find some kills here now and double down on his level lead. But XlorD is never really exposing anything too easily. Is not foolishly giving anything away. And in the meantime is starting to get his tech up. Tier 2 about to finish here for the German. And honestly, this looks very, very promising for XlorD. A 2-0 for him is not something I would have expected at all.
Yeah, and that of course gives him a little bit of a lead against Hitman as well, who only got 1 point out of his series versus Foggy. And that's a very, very good position then. If he gets 1 map or even 2 versus Hitman, XlorD is definitely in the round of 6. And the Gargs are coming. And 3 Crypt Gargs is so hard to counter. Especially with no second hero at 7 minutes 45.
Yeah, no second hero on either side. This is looking like a weird challenge at the moment. They're just both refusing to play more than 1 hero. XlorD could also go for his own. Or did he unsummon the altar? Maybe he did? Not really. Okay, this is just weird. This map is officially weird.
Oh, pretty great. I like weird games off of the norm. This is what we want from LAN games. No anti-air, of course, currently, but the Gargs will stream in, and XlorD is one of the most patient players in all of Warcraft, so he can hide a little bit behind his towers that he built, and then things should be fine. Lich finally queued.
Look at the ghouls. They're waiting for the unload.
Oh.
They're down there rubbing their hands together. They have been very hungry. So far, they've had nothing to cannibalize. Would love to munch on one of those archers.
Who wouldn't? Finally, Foggy's expansion is starting, of course, far behind of that of XlorD, so the gold advantage should definitely go to the Mousebots player. Picks up a ghoul, picks up some acolytes. I really like this Hippo play at the moment, not going into a direct confrontation, but picking up strengths at 2 fronts, between the 2 bases and also with the Keeper, forcing at least a coil. Now the Lich is out, and that's a powerful, powerful weapon, if not the most powerful in the undead build.
Yeah, Foggy's doing this really well. This mid-game, this poking and prodding, this looking for free damage wherever he can. He has managed to come very close in supply now, and I guess also tech. But he still has only 1 hero. one single hero, and that hero is supposed to fall off in the late game anyways.
Well, it's just a common tranquility rush. Have you never heard of this?
Is that the next strategy from Lado? And the 4 Mountain Giant Rush?
Was a 6 Mountain Giant Rush. Lately, it has been improved. Both meet at 50 pop. Foggy is a little bit back in the saddle. I like the armor upgrade by XlorD. He's switching it up again. Very, very different build. Get a Sacrificial Pit. Love it. The addition that Happy introduced into the meta. XlorD is picking that one up and is brave enough to go into the middle, and he gets the Bone Chimes again.
And Foggy's just playing mass Hippo Riders. With now finally a second hero joining, the Alchemist. Acid Bomb can help, but it's normally not quite as good as a Panda in the late game.
And what do you do with these Hippo Riders? If there's a fight, the Gargoyles will tear him apart. Ankh of Reincarnation might be really, really useful because the Alchemist immediately getting caught.
And the heroes seem to be still a weak link in XlorD's army. Low level, no tri-hero yet, and of course no orb either. So XlorD doesn't quite have the dominating force out in the middle of the map so far. Here's the unload for Foggy. Now he's got tons of anti-air, hippos plus archers. And this is something that XlorD can't contest at the moment.
Okay, falling back a little. He can still creep his green spot next to the base. He can try to... Oh, that Nova is massive. The Hippos could be in position to pick up the archers because they have no targets. Focus fire on the Lich. Will it work out? Invo Potion popped. A couple of seconds safety for the Lich, but now he's there. No more Entangle. The Lich is just walking home.
XlorD is also trying to get as much as he can here out of the middle, but I like the play by Foggy considering how doomed it is supposed to be to play counter expansion with the Keeper. Foggy's doing it well. He knows of his strengths as long as he has them. But that time may come to an end. Because once tier 3 is finished, and where we have Frenzy and Destroyers, and maybe even a third hero, that is when the true puzzle shows itself. And that is how the hell can Foggy keep up with that.
Alrighty. We're approaching the early late game, everybody. Foggy already breaking up. Keep XlorD is not patiently waiting, not paying any taxes to the Warcraft gods. Level 2 Lich. Is it once again Frost Armor, or will he go to Dark Ritual? A Lich, a hero with only great spells. He's hesitant for now. Of course, he has a lot of vision with the Shade out. Scroll of Protection. And it is Thorn's Aura.
Thorn's Aura, 1 point. Okay. That basically kind of counters the Scourge Bone Chimes. It's kind of good. But XlorD now creeping the red camp. This could be a huge item. Lots of wonderful drops for him to find here. Helm of Valor, rather on the weaker side, but you should still pick it up.
Pick him up!
It's not the best one.
XlorD! He's so disgusted by this item that he just leaves it there. I don't need this one. Maybe if he loses the Lich in the process, he will be looking back at that situation and with wishing for that HP. Okay, XlorD not 100% focused or already one step ahead. See it as you want. And yeah, both saying, okay, we leave each other alone for a while. I'm satisfied with the situation. I will be owning the late game. And I wonder whose assessment is better.
Double Sappers. This is a play that can get Foggy back into the game. Foggy perhaps the best Sapper user in the world. We've seen him win many games in the past with Sappers. And with 2 of them, I think he can blow up that expansion, can't he?
His own expansion is under threat as well. Stressful situation for both of them. He is portaling with the Sappers.
Do Sappers TP?
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh, and he sees him with the sentry.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, this is so bad.
That's the worst timing. Aye, that if this attack had just been 30 seconds later, Foggy could have detonated them and looked for the big damage. But now XlorD totally knows, and with Coil Nova, he can deal with them easily.
Easy! And man, these Watch Awards are freaking amazing. Coil number 1, Sapper down, Invo Potion pop, not getting entangled, free roam, waiting for the cooldown to be over. Bye-bye.
More experience with the DK as well. Very close now to level 4. And he's got the staff to get out as well. XlorD absolutely on point this game. And this was the scary phase. Him being just a minute ago fairly greedy, going tier 3, staying at 50, not having a big army yet. Foggy there could have perhaps looked for his window, but now we got the orb, now we got destroyers, now we got fiends, and Foggy has very little speaking in favor of him.
This is just an incredible series by XlorD. From start to finish, he's in control. He got 2 upgrades switching into fiends and a heal scroll ready too. how is Foggy supposed to stop this madness? Alchemist level 3 helps, having the 2 rings on him definitely helps as well. He's killing his own unit. Was he killing his own units? I'm not too sure, to rotate into fairies now. Interesting dynamic between the 2 races. Foggy can finally play the unit mix that he initially wanted to going into game 1.
And XlorD got so much room to grow. Just as 2 heroes that he has now. Oh, there's a gift there. Thank you. There's the Alchemist.
Dude, he's so tanky. 1000 HP, 11.5 armor, and an Ankh.
Yeah.
I think he's not gonna die.
Not bad. Not bad at all. XlorD perhaps getting ready to set up the 3rd base. And what I was trying to say was XlorD has so much room to grow stronger. 3rd hero could be a great addition. Dark Ranger, just to have silence, which can't be dispelled because Foggy does not have Dryads, or a Pit Lord. How strong would that be? And how the hell is Foggy gonna get stronger? I mean, I guess he can get stronger a little bit here or there, but how is he gonna get the upper hand?
That is a Temple of the Dead.
Oh my god, is he gonna start playing Necros now? He's been starting to play Necros against Orc a little bit. And
I mean, if you have if you're maxed out at 80, if you're approaching 3/3 upgrades, why not spend your resources for 1 or 2 token necromancers? If there's no dispel in the enemy army, Frenzy Lich, Frenzy Fiends, freaking crazy.
yeah, Banshee with Curse could also be really good. Honestly, I think he needs neither of them though. Keeper in trouble right away. Is there something to save him? I certainly hope so. Staff, TP, potion, something. Keeper has nothing. Now he finally does. Ankh is given over, but the Ankh is going to be triggered as well right away. Okay, the Keeper falls, and the Fiends webbing everything, finding one target after the next. They are very well upgraded, and there's no chance.
Holy moly! Foggy stands no chance at all in this series. XlorD taking 3 points in one of the most impressive series that we've had at RARALAND.
I was not expecting this one.
Never!
Foggy normally notoriously strong against Undead. XlorD has struggled against Foggy quite a bit in the past, always able to show, especially against the German Night Elves, but also against the slightly lower level Night Elves in Europe normally, how strong he can be. But Foggy was always a roadblock for him. But today, that was smashed through, and absolutely no question who was the better player here in this series. And Foggy looking a bit lost in both games, I want to say.
XlorD's revolutionary build on game 1, trying to pull off this kind of the same on map 2, then adjusting. That was the #1 strength here, I guess, next to flawless execution, adjusting on the fly the entire day. First against Kevin, now here against Foggy. This XlorD is really scary.
Yeah, and here his ability to improvise and do so well with that really shines through in one of these longer, more hectic tournaments. This is something where a player like XlorD can benefit. If you give Foggy a week to prepare for this strat specifically, and you let him play again, it's a whole different story. Yeah. But Foggy doesn't have that much time for so much prep here in this tournament.
And that's exactly why stressful lands are the place for these kind of new builds. This is the biggest stage here in Europe, $10,000 prize money in official world championship. And this is where you see these builds and you give your opponent no time to adjust. We have an interview with the winner, with the dominator XlorD. Todd, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with the victor. Congratulations. You said you thought that Hitman and Foggy were going to be the favorite against you, and now you came out ahead with a 2-0. Are you very surprised by the result, or do you think the games just kind of went your way and your practice is paying off?
I mean, the first game, he didn't expect me to do this strategy, I guess. He never saw it before, maybe. So it worked out pretty good, like against Kevin already today. And on the second map, yeah, I think he miscalculated that I was not doing an expo, but I was. So I saw with my Acolyte that he's stacking, so I could execute it. And from then on, it's just playing normally and not losing.
Do you think that this gargoyle strategy that you're doing is a good long-term thing, or it's a short-term fix against the air style of the Night Elves?
It looks pretty strong on Concealed Hill, I have to say, also on ladder. But yeah, I sent the replay to Happy like a few weeks ago, the same strategy, and he didn't reply me to me. Then I came up to him today and asked him, did you see the replay? He, no, I didn't. And I was like trying to explain him, and he's like, no.
So, are you still gonna try to send him more replays in the future, or you give up after this?
Yeah, maybe I will put the replays on a stick and give it to him for the trips, or maybe.
Your next match is Hitman, I believe, on the stage. Is there a bit more on the line here? Because you guys in the past, you've exchanged word, you played against each other last time at DreamHack. I feel like you guys really respect each other as player, but maybe as person it's a little bit different, or is it not like that at all?
I would say not anymore, since I met him in Sweden at DreamHack. He's a really fine guy, so we had a lot of fun. So there's no bad blood, other than no lames. No more lames.
All right, thank you very much, XlorD. Good luck in the next match, and yeah, I'm sure we'll hear again from you later on.
No more lames.
He was doing this earlier today when he played against Kevin as well.
Yeah.
His last words were like the interviewer tried to moderate him out of there, and he's got to have the last word saying no more lames.
Every interview today, I've had a smile on my face at the end of it. These interviews have been so great.
Yeah,
the Lion
right.
interviews earlier were hilarious. It's like everyone's doing a stand-up routine when there's a crowd in front of them. It's beautiful.
Exactly, dude. Basically, XlorD kind of reminded me of Jerry Seinfeld saying there's
Yeah, exactly. Very good timing, actually. I'm very
Exactly,
impressed by it. Yeah.
doing his very dry, happy impersonations and whatnot. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So what wasn't so funny was actually the series, because Foggy got molly-whooped here. This was very, very tough to watch from a Foggy fan perspective, right? XlorD just he crushed him.
Yeah, and that's a huge win for XlorD as well, getting the 3 points there. And most people expected it to be a 2-1, regardless of which way it went. It was either going to be a 2-1 for Foggy or 2-1 for XlorD, but they didn't expect it to be that one-sided. I do have 2 clips from the first game, because we were talking a lot about that Keeper Fairy Dragon style from the perspective of the Night Elf, but now we could jump into a couple of clips that will be from the Undead's perspective, just to show you guys that. So we got clip 1 ready here. This is just going to show this army that XlorD goes for, the mass anti-air that he has. He goes for, of course, that Alchemist. He puts the Orb on the Death Knight, and he gets Frost Armor on the Gargs. So I think we're ready to go with the clip, and we can just see this fight in the middle by the fountain. XlorD just has such good micro. He's always been a very, very mechanical player. Here we see the clip. So we have the Alchemist going for anti-air chemical rage, Orb on the Death Knight, Lich frost armoring the Gargs, pressuring the heroes, and then pretty much the Gargs deal with everything. Because frost armor on Gargs, what are the Hippogriffs supposed to do? Absolutely ridiculous exchange. It's just pretty much hard countering the army, not caring about anything else. I'm just going to counter your units. I'm going to kill your army. So there's that one fight in the middle. There's clip number 1. And then later on, we can see that it just translates into pulling the ghouls, and then he can go for the expansion. And the heroes end up getting pressured so much because you don't have bears in this matchup. You end up with pretty much no HP, no mana. You completely run out of steam from the Night Elf's perspective, and you can no longer hold your Expo. And then we saw XlorD eventually pull more ghouls, and he was able to break the Expo. So I got one more clip. I'll just show you guys the ending of the game. So here's clip number 2 ready to go. And this is just generally how it ends. We're going to see both of Foggy's heroes pretty much low. And he tries to get back home, but he has barely any Moonwells left. All the Frenzy Ghouls are attacking the tree. So Foggy has to fight here, because if he loses the tree, he loses the game. But the heroes are just out of steam. No mana, no HP, no potions, well, he has a Town Portal. He has the Invuln, but the Keeper dies in GG, and that's pretty much it for clip number 2. It's simple as that, really.
Yeah, exactly.
He counters the army, wins the fight, kills the Expo, and that's pretty much all you need to do. You kill the Expo, you win the game, because you just can't go one base, and play Mass Fairy Dragons, because they kind of are a bad unit at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of seems like, it looked like XlorD always had something in his back pocket. Like he always had a secondary winning condition hiding away from Foggy, because he was engaging in the air versus air battle. He was going with the gargoyles, trying to counter the air there. Also the Alchemist, brilliant. This melee hero that can attack air units because he's so large. Brilliant idea from Blizzard, and for the first time in forever, I've seen this implemented in an actual competitive game of Warcraft. So I love this strategy here by XlorD. And then to really confirm his win condition, because he cannot rely on winning the fight 1v1. He also has a whole bunch of ghouls that prompt Foggy to act. So yeah, we could see that in the clip like perfectly fine. And I don't think we have this clip, but in the second game, Foggy tried to pull out all the stops and do like his very special, like I would call it the Foggy, like going in there with the sappers.
Yeah, the lames.
Yeah, the lames.
No more
exactly,
lames.
No more lames. And yeah, XlorD actually had a sentry ward placed at Foggy's expansion, and Foggy tried to TP to the expansion so that he had to disengage in the fight, but he didn't want to lose too much time going from the main to XlorD's expansion to beat that. So he TP to the expansion, not knowing that there was a sentry ward, and XlorD was aware that he had vision there, saw the sappers, then he invised his DK to go on to beat the or like kill the sappers, and then he also had an invuln with him in case he gets entangled.
Yeah,
that was just perfectly executed, and like
100%.
Yeah, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back in game 2, I think.
Yeah, totally crazy, because the invis pot is especially brilliant because he doesn't know that Foggy knows, because Foggy didn't know about the ward, so he's like, okay, I don't think he saw the sappers because he backed away, so he moves his DK away. I'm running away from you, maybe I'm gonna go creep, you can go sapper my expo again. But then he gets the invis pot, he gets the potion of vulnerability, kills both sappers, breaks the entangle so that's on cooldown with the potion of vulnerability, and then there's no entangle, so he can staff away pretty much free. A little bit of an investment, but sappers cost like, I don't know, I did the trivia, I don't even know the answer to this. They cost some ridiculous amount of gold, probably around 500, 600 gold there, so a couple of items, not too bad. Just really solid play from XlorD. I'm a little bit afraid for Hitman.
Yeah, I think just brilliantly out-strategized, outsmarted, and also very, very well executed there. And Foggy was under constant pressure, and XlorD didn't feel the pressure at all because his game plan worked out perfectly. Just everything that he tried to do worked out in his favor. And Foggy, we saw him like show a little bit of the jitters when he like tried to expand. I think it was on the first map, right?
Yeah, because it ran into the creeps.
Yeah, exactly. It ran into the creeps and whatnot. So Foggy definitely looked a little more shaky here. He still has a shot at making it out of the group, of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
But XlorD is, I think, pretty much confirmed at least third place in the group now. So shoutouts to him. And I think we throw you guys into a little bit of a break, a little word from our beautiful sponsors, and see you after that.